Howlers.
I'm recording. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to Fade to Obsidian, your Red Rising podcast about relationships, spaceships, and death. Death in relationships,
Womp womp.
and death in spaceships, and everywhere else. I am
And
Skipper.
death of relationships and death of spaceships.
Oh, yeah. So much death. I am Skipper, joined as always by Crescent, and joined regularly by Salem. Welcome in, Salem.
Hello.
Thanks
It's
for being
been
obligated
a
to join
while.
us again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been a little while,
Yeah.
but you guys have been covering a whole bunch of stuff in the books, so it's my turn.
We're flying through. I know. It was funny.
Yeah.
The wording to you was, which one are you going to take?
Yeah.
Everyone else got an option. You're like...
Yeah, you're
which
taking one. It's which one is it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So before I say, this is everybody's warning that not only are we discussing a death that happens in Golden Sun, we will also be exploring the impact it has all the way until Lightbringer. So if you have not finished Lightbringer, go do that and then loop back. Great. Thanks. Because we're going to talk about Tactus today, which then I forgot has impact on Apollonius. So it is all the way to...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
look at that. All right. Before we jump in, what are you drinking?
I have good old water.
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 Water in a Kilkenny pint.
I have Water of the Willow Way, Lagavulin
Oh.
16,
Ooh, you gotta.
Appropriate.
and my Arcos Academy shirt.
I have wine. I have red wine. Because it was the fastest thing I could grab.
Has blood.
I was
Yeah!
gonna say that's just blood.
Also, it's
Perfect.
Tactus. He would be drinking red wine.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he'd be doing other things that, like, harder than wine.
Yeah, but he would be drinking wine.
That's true.
Yeah.
Along with a mix of other stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good old
Probably.
Tactus. Crescent, I'm assuming based on your outfit and everything, you're pointed a certain way about his death. It seems that you might be cheering for the killer over here.
No, I just don't have Tactus merch because none
I
exists.
don't think it exists.
Doesn't yeah. Everyone takes.
Which is probably saying something about him, but
I don't think I've seen Tactus fan art.
There is some, but I think
little.
it is only posted on social media. It is on the wiki.
Okay.
There were a few images on the wiki.
Okay. We'll have to hit up the artists for that one. Though, when I asked for Julian, all of them went, I don't want to. But yeah, I feel like our boy Tactus, I mean, we're going to talk about, he did make, I think, a giant impact on this series. But I think it's in, like, subtle tones that you forget he is the reason for that. And I'll get into that in a second. Before we do, let's talk about Tactus before he died. What are our initial thoughts? Like Red Rising. Let's go back to we meet him at the Institute. What are our thoughts on Tactus?
He's a huge piece of shit.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely in Red Rising. I think it was one of those where he was very much there for himself.
Yep.
And that was also just kind of the vibe of the Institute anyways, is that they were all there for themselves. And he just was the embodiment of that.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, he is a true Iron Gold, correct? Like, his family is from the Conquering. I'm pretty sure in Red Rising, he lets Darrow know that, of like, you can't touch me, I'm an Iron Gold.
He could buy and sell you with his weekly allowance, he says to Darrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he
Mm-hmm.
just he's in the Priam uh Jackal.
Right.
Yeah, Roke a little bit, but I feel like Roke at least knows that he like is a nepo baby rather than Tactus like knows he has power, but it's like he doesn't understand that it's a problem. He's like my
Yeah.
family,
He thinks it's
right?
the
Like
solution.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
He thinks it's
rather
the
than
only solution.
correct. Rather than, I would
Yeah.
say, Roke and Mustang know they have power, but how to use that correctly. Um, Tactus, well, we don't get enough of Priam, but we assume Priam. And the Jackal, it's like, I do what I want, which is hard. Yeah, I mean, the first kind of real intro, we do get him so, like, we know he fits in with the Howlers immediately, but then he immediately kills Tamara, or like we assume he does. Of like,
Yeah.
it's not great.
It's
Yeah. Well,
extremely heavily implied
Yeah,
so far
yes,
as
and
it's said, and we just kind of have to take that as truth.
yeah, and he's all doing it for personal gain. That's it. Like
yeah.
it. I went back and I was like reading and I was researching a little bit about his storyline at the Institute, and it was really interesting to see that the like especially after having been away from reading the series for a little while, seeing how he just followed the cookie crumb trail of what benefited him. And as soon as he thought somebody was no longer going to benefit him, he turned on them. Yep. Because he does that when they're trying to take over House Minerva.
Right.
And he just pretty much goes, like, they take it over, and he's like, no, this is mine now. Yeah. And he just posts up in it. So it's like... And I think one thing that I was really looking at is how his upbringing brought that into play. And how that was just how his brothers... Yeah, just more about... His brothers were part of the upbringing that made him into the... Like, made him make the decisions that he does when it comes to just dropping something as soon as it no longer serves him, or he thinks that it's going to be negative to him in the future. He pretty much tries to avoid any like issues before they even happen, so he just jumps ship.
Yeah, he's very much short-term gain, fuck the long-term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Get high now, burn out later. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard because at the like I don't like him in the Institute. I didn't like him even in the beginning of Golden Sun. Like, and it's funny because even on this read through, I was like, I know there's Tactus apologists. I need to just go by that point of view. And the whole time, I literally wrote, I could never love you. Like, that was
he is not a likable character. Just straight up. Like, he has moments that are good. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, he's just unlikable. Yeah. And untrustworthy.
Yeah.
And that's like and he like you gotta have sympathy for him a little bit because he's kind of fucked up by how he was raised. But only to a point. You're still making your own decisions, my guy.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is jumping it a little bit, but I have a note about after his death, Roke Mustang doubts whether or not Tactus would ever have changed, right? Like, and Roke's comment is, it was our responsibility to try. And I get that. I am absolutely, here's your second chance. But when I went through tonight and I was listing all of the things and the betrayals, it's like at some point you kind of have to give up on him. Like you can't have that big of a weakness, especially for what Darrow's trying to do. And I applaud Roke for making the attempt. But like literally, okay, so everything that happens at the Institute with Tamara, as well as the sexual assault, like we haven't even gotten into that, which leads to Darrow whipping him. Like that's a huge thing. Then
Mhm.
immediately in Golden Sun, he's the one who launches the escape pod so that Darrow's not on.
Ditches Darrow, yeah.
Ditches Darrow.
Immediately turns on him after that, too, because then he starts making fun of Darrow and turns on Darrow essentially and tries to turn all the Lancers against Darrow because he thinks Darrow just isn't worth it. It's like, the dude failed once and you're just gonna leave him? Like,
your star is falling. Better hop off now.
Yeah.
When the like wager he makes about like, don't worry, Darrow will last 7 days or whatever it is, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay. Now he does have Darrow's back at the gala. We'll give him that, but at the same time, that is where Nero is angling. So is he really doing that for Darrow, or is he doing it in support of House Augustus, which is where the power lies in that moment? Then he's gonna steal. Sorry, go on.
And again, like that's Augustus is now on the rise from that moment. And he's like, oh, better jump back on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Until he steals Lysander to jump off.
Well, because he saw an opportunity. He literally was like, oh, here's an opportunity. Like, Darrow's not... Okay, that was another thing that I was really realizing is every time, and I think it's due to his upbringing, Tactus was somebody that wanted to have... Like, he wanted to be in the loop. He wanted to have the information. He wanted to be part of the team. And he gets, like... Every time he jumps ship, he is not getting enough information. And so, like, you see that back at the Institute when he's questioning Darrow about, what do you know about the Proctors? And Darrow's like, I'll tell you later. And then finally he tells him before Tactus leaves.
Yeah.
And then that's essentially what was happening before he took Lysander. Darrow wasn't telling him the plan. Darrow was leaving him out of the loop. And he's like, fine, screw you. I'm going to take this opportunity and go be with the highest power in the solar system right now instead. She'll love me. She'll like me because I'm saving her grandson.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, okay, so then we get him at Lorne's and sided with Aja.
Yeah.
Which can I say, like, so Roke is so hung up on Darrow being the cause of Quinn's death and Aja killing Quinn. But when Tactus jumps teams to Aja, the only thing Roke cares about is still kill Aja. And he's so forgiving of Tactus, who's essentially run off to murder children and doesn't understand that Darrow's letting Aja go because, well, that's Quinn's killer. I'm sorry, your best friend's off to murder some children on the side of Quinn's killer. Like, why is Rogue so forgiving of that? And, like, holds Darrow of, like, you didn't go after Aja. Like, it just, to me, does not make
I almost wonder
sense.
if Roke sees something in Tactus that he sees in himself. Yeah. Because I feel like Roke does a lot of the similar things. Like, again, it's like the Gala scene. Roke's trust in Darrow kind of breaks with that moment. And he now he's no longer, like, in Darrow's pocket, I guess, like, as a friend. And so he's not getting fed the information. And so he's not in the loop like Tactus isn't in the loop. So it's almost like he has that same thought process of, okay, well, should I jump ship at this point too? Like, how close am I to Tactus?
Yeah, he's just a little less mercurial.
Yeah. He's not quite as angry.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit more... I mean, Roke thinks everything through.
Yeah, he's
and
slower
Tactus
to
clearly
action.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Tactus just
does.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that, I don't know, that's a, I just like my note says, Roke, how the fuck did you think this was playing out when Tactus was the children? Like, how did you think this was gonna go?
And again, Roke's very
I
self-centered.
will say, I don't think Roke knew about the kids until afterwards.
Okay.
Because they didn't know that that's where Tactus had gone until
Right.
Lorne and Darrow kind of go, oh, like, where would he go? And they go, oh, fuck, the kids. And there's no way Darrow is broadcasting that to the
Well,
Probably
doesn't
not.
Severo
comms.
say, I never found any kids? Because he asks Severo, like, where are the kids? And Severo says, I
and
never
he's like,
found
I
any
don't.
kids. So that might have gone, though at the same time,
And
he
then
had shut off Roke's comms because Roke was just yelling, and he's like,
Yeah, because he was yelling about
he's
Aja.
like, dial that in.
well, and that's Roke's very selfish nature, is that he wanted revenge for the thing that he felt he needed revenge on, and he hasn't felt revenge towards Tactus, so he wasn't caring where Tactus was in that moment.
Yeah.
Aja was the bigger deal to him. So
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. But it's funny, of that whole time I knew, and like it's hard this read through because I'm trying to keep so many characters that I'm going to be talking about straight. All of my notes are about Lorne and Roke. I was like, oh yeah, Tactus. And I knew, like, I was like, right, the next one we're recording is Tactus. That's who I should be focusing on. And all of my notes are Lorne and Roke, because I'm like, that's the more interesting. That's who I'm here for.
It is interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like, I don't know. Do we want to have any other comments before we get into his actual death? We've pretty much covered it. It's just kind of like shitty thing after shitty thing.
Yeah. No, I don't have.
That's pretty much him before he dies.
Yeah, like I mean, that whole scene of him dying I have notes on that, but like,
yeah,
absolutely. I don't have any other comments leading
No.
up to that point. No.
Yeah. Okay. So then we'll get into. It is one of the sadder deaths. So we get Lorne and Darrow run crawling, somehow going down a hallway in low gravity.
Yeah, they're using their grab boots.
Yeah. And then into the room, they find him with the children, and then I think there's some low colors. Like I feel like a nanny's there.
Yeah.
Like
There's some low color. There's some servants, some low color children, his grandkids. So it's a wash of everybody that was not. It wasn't just children. It was like all of the other
the household staff,
people he was protecting.
Yeah.
And Darrow making the plea, and this is where we get like what Darrow might have seen between the Institute and the Academy of like these. It's a very vulnerable moment. I think we had previous to this known the story of the violin and his brothers, and it just gets touched on. It is a very moving scene, I will say.
Yeah. It definitely, it posed a lot of like self thought for me. Like it's kind of one of those moments from Darrow's perspective of like being in a leadership position and then realizing, did I fail this person? And he was a friend to me. I see where he can be loyal to me. Like I want to give him another chance. Like I see the potential in him. But then I think that's where the other side of the argument comes in, and it's like, would that potential have really been there? And it's really interesting to then think of it from Tactus's side of like, is Darrow's, like he enjoyed Darrow so much that he followed Darrow, and his family had, especially his brothers, essentially like beat the crap out of him because they thought he was Darrow's shadow. And so he felt like crap, and that's part of the reason why he turned on Darrow and took Lysander and joined forces with Dwaja. So it's like he was trying to get out of that shadow, but really he just wants to be acknowledged by Darrow and be on Darrow's side because he knows it's better than the fate that his family essentially has made for him. But it's a very interesting concept of like Darrow seeing all the things that he could have been, like the relationship that could have been with him and Tactus, and all of the potential that there could be if Tactus could be on his side and he could make sure that he stays on his side. And Tactus just wants to be loved. I think I made a note of like Tactus just wants to be wanted, he just wants to be loved, and he just wants to be seen.
Yep.
And Darrow, I think, could supply that, but
it doesn't
happen.
Well, yeah. I called him lost and confused, which I think is fair, right? Like he's just lost in this world. He doesn't know how to make it through out of the shadow of anybody, out of the shadow of Darrow, out of the shadow of his brothers. And then I think that is where Roke probably has provided the most for Tactus, because Darrow can't. Darrow doesn't even know how to support Mustang and Severo and Rogue. Like, never mind all of these other friends, the B tier friends, right? Like, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He clearly tries, because he tries to get him the violin, and then that, like, fails. But that whole violin story is interesting to me, of, you know, Darrow clearly making an effort, but then thinking that Tactus sold it, and so you understand why he would be injured. And so then when Roke kind of throws it back in his face of like, you know, he didn't actually sell it, he was practicing, how is Darrow supposed to know that?
Yeah, like
right, like,
well, and Tactus was doing that in secret anyway, so it's like that's a low blow for Roke.
100%. Like,
yeah,
no, Darrow went out of his way to, you know, make this grand gesture, and that's all Darrow really has at this point. I don't think he truly knows how to make connection with the golds. Like,
well, and that was a question that I wrote down, was if Tactus had lived, and if Tactus and Darrow had tried to foster that relationship, one, do we even think that would work? Would Tactus then, after this scenario, would he turn on Darrow again because of his own self requirements and self satisfactions that he needs? And on the flip side, how much effort would Darrow have to put in constantly to make himself and their relationship of friendship, whatever, to be above Tactus's par in order to keep him around?
Absolutely. I don't. There would be something else down the road that, like, he would just be that clingy, needy friend that at all times needs reassurance, and like it would. Darrow's not going to be able to make up for that. I'm also thinking of the fact of not just Darrow, but everyone in the Howlers and the extended Howlers, so to speak, the Telemanos, the Mustangs, and all of them. They need to form their own bonds to have the story progress. And I don't think Tactus fits into that. We already know that Mustang's going to doubt it. We already know that probably Severo is not going to be good enough for Tactus as much as they get along. Like, there's going to be too many things. And so when I'm picturing this, if somehow Roke still, for whatever reason, betrays, but Tactus is on the side of the Howlers, there's no way in hell Tactus is following Severo.
No.
Like, he's gonna be, like, Tactus is alongside Roke. If Roke still flips, he's going probably that way. And he's not coming back. Like,
yeah, well, and I mean, Tactus, one of the times that he turned was because Severo beat the shit out of him. And so, I mean, there's already that power dynamic where they struggle with each other. So there'd be no way, unless unless somehow Tactus and Severo like formed some sort of relationship, like some howler relationship, I don't see it happening. But I mean, that would be the only way that Tactus could be comfortable with that, because he always wants to have the upper hand on something.
Yep.
And I think Darrow would be the only one he would allow himself to not have the upper hand on.
Tactus would also be so jealous of Ragnar. Let's call it what it is. Like Ragnar suddenly being the one who's like bodyguard outside of Darrow and like all of that. First off, Tactus is gonna pull his "I'm a iron gold" shit. You can't, right? Like, because we already get the Telemanus like questioning, being like, "What you doing over here?" And these are reasonable, kind people, rather than Tactus would absolutely not have approved of Darrow treating Ragnar and Orion in the manner that he goes on to do directly, well, technically in between Tactus's kidnapping of Lysander and the death, but like Tactus isn't going to be here for it. I don't think there was ever any saving Tactus.
Well, yeah, and then when, like, if he lives and Roke flips, and potentially Tactus stays, then he finds out that Darrow was a red.
Yeah.
He's gone. Like, he's so gone so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially if he didn't, I mean, Severo even almost had a hard time with learning that Darrow was a red. And so it's one of those where he's like, I could not imagine Tactus, if it's anything, maybe not even the fact that he was a red, but the fact that he kept that secret from him is probably what would do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever saving Tactus. Out of curiosity, for let's say that Darrow and Lorne somehow don't make it to the kids, do you think Tactus would have killed the kids? Or do you think he would have at least stopped there? Like, how lost do we think he actually is?
I basically think that he knew that they were coming, and he was planning on using them as a shield, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think he was gone to the point of, yeah, I got sent to kill all these kids, so that's what I'm going to do. Because otherwise, they would have been gone already.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that he was going to use them as a shield. I feel like it would have been a really interesting scene if Darrow and Lorne did not show up in a timely manner, because I almost feel like, because he was already on the borderline of like personal breakdown, because he killed all the guards, and then he saw how many people were in there and he stopped. And it kind of makes me think that he was questioning, especially with some of the dialogue that he tells Darrow when Darrow confronts him about it. Like, he didn't want to actually kill all those kids. He didn't want to be that kind of person, but he even admits that, oh, I'm just a lackey. Oh, I'm just a lapdog. I'm the one that's just following orders. And I think in the end, it's kind of hard. Like, I could see it going either way, of him just having a breakdown and realizing, I am not this person, but then he'd have an existential crisis about it, probably, of like, oh, I can't even do this one thing. I'm in everybody's shadow. And then I could see the other flip side of it, where he's like, I have to do this in order to prove myself. And then if they didn't show up, I could see him also doing it. So I could see it going either way. I don't know if he's such a loose cannon that I don't know if I could see him not or doing 100%.
It. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my mind, it's almost a combination of definitely all the low colors gone. Probably any adults there might be gone. But Lorne's grandchildren, I think he would almost sit there being like, well, how can I turn this to my advantage? Because I don't think we then see how protective Lauren is of like, yeah, you might think you're changed, but absolutely not. Don't threaten them. But I think part of him might in that moment go, can I use them as a bargaining chip for Lauren and prove that I did kill? Because he doesn't give a shit about the low color children or any of the low color servants. But Gold's, like, I think he could at least try and figure out, like, how can I use this advantage? But yeah, he would definitely personal crisis on if you do it, are you terrible person? And if you don't do it, are you exactly what everyone thinks of you? Right? Like this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's definitely hard.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, and then from there, we get his impact across the rest of the series, which I would argue is one of the more vast ones, but in very subtle ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Like we know Roke is going to turn because of him. We're already seeing Roke not in a good place and then mourning him. And this is going to be part of Roke's, villain origin story.
Downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Roke tells us he was gone no matter what after Quinn died.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I think it was
this is just hastening his departure.
Yeah.
Yes. And they were all him, Victra, Darrow, and Tactus were pretty tight knit in the academy. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and having Victra and Darrow pretty much team up, and then he's not in the picture, and then he doesn't have a buddy with Tactus anymore or Quinn. I mean, I don't blame him, but I mean, it's not good what he did.
No. Yeah.
So
we definitely get Tactus's impact on Rogue, but I feel like the other interesting thing that I constantly forget about is Tactus and Apollonius being brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we finally get Apollonius, I have to keep thinking back of like, wait, who are you related to? You're Tactus's brother? Like, it's very interesting to me of that little bit where we get a little bit more insight into Tactus's childhood long after he's dead.
Well, and I also, every time I like go through and I read it, Tactus is kind of one of those characters that I know he has an impact, and I know that he impacts a lot of the first two books just with his actions and things. But I do forget about his upbringing, and then I forget in the later part of the series that Apple did those things to Tactus.
Yeah.
Like, he did not good things to like, and that just, I always forget because everybody's like, oh, Apple's this really interesting character. No, I mean, he is an interesting character, but he's done some like nasty shit to his family.
Oh
yeah,
absolutely. Well, and then you think his other brother is a fucking bone rider.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of fucked up shit was going on in that household?
Yeah, nothing where good. Are our parents in this? Where?
They were bullying him too. Well, and it's interesting because he's like, I think it's unspoken because he's the youngest, but it's kind of that unspoken, he's the runt. And so he gets treated as such. And I think that's kind of the youngest child syndrome kind of thing, is either you're the absolute baby that's loved or you're the forgotten kid because you're the youngest and your parents are tired of your kids. So
yeah,
kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah, very interesting. The other thing I'm just thinking of is how much Apple, I don't know if admires Darrow. I don't know if that's the right word, but where he's like, Darrow is his only true equal almost. Like, Apple is this, like...
I think he...
Right? Like, he's like, okay, I need to... Like, his obsession with beating Darrow, especially in Lightbringer, is because if he can beat Darrow, then like he's beaten everybody, and that's the only true person. And so then it's interesting if it's like, okay, but you are razzing your little brother for this is the guy you're friends with and this is who you're following. And now you're like, this guy's kind of actually great. Kind of actually really like him. He's equal to me. Right? Like it's a weird
I see why my brother liked him.
Yeah.
And it's
like,
but I mean, he would never admit that that was like his brother's friend. I feel like it's one of those where it's like he'd never say that, oh yeah, my brother did find an interesting one. It's no, I have found the interesting one. You have changed since those days.
Yes.
Well, I think that's the thing is, back when he's this upstart lancer to Augustus, he's making his moves in the society. Apollonius would be like, yeah, okay, young gold, like
child,
whatever. And then he takes out the sovereign, and then he becomes this god of war. And Apollonius is like, okay, there's something to this. And then he bests him in combat when Apollonius tries to assassinate him.
Yep.
And then he's like, okay, fuck this noise. It's time to level up.
I have new life goals. Destroy Darrow.
Yeah, I think Apollonius absolutely finds a kindred spirit in Darrow.
Yep.
Eventually.
But yeah, it's always funny if I always forget that Apollonius and Tactus are brothers. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I think another impact that I was really thinking of was the impact of Darrow's leadership style after all of this happens with Tactus, because he realizes in that moment, and I feel like he's constantly realizing this, where, like you said, he's not good at being a people person. Yep. He's good at being a god of war. And so he has to constantly work on these relationships and reignite people's hope in him. And I think with this turning point of Tactus dying, it really kickstarts his understanding of, oh, I need to pay attention to the people that are close to me. I cannot make this relationship and hope that it lasts. I have to put work into it. And rereading it for this, I was like, oh, this is kind of one of those points of, as a leader, you realize, fuck, I do have to foster these relationships. They can't just blindly trust me all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that kind of shapes how he acts in Morningstar. And then I think that's why in Iron Gold, it's kind of hard because he's reverted back to kind of what he was before. And so Dark Age and
Hardcore War.
Yeah, and then Dark Age and Lightbringer, we're getting that back from him again. So,
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he learns to let people in a little bit.
I know.
I just got arm's length.
I just got to the part where I think Mustang directly says, like, "Let me in," where she shows up and then in his room and sends Ragnar away. That he's like,
yep.
And he looks like he hesitates for too long, and then she's gone. I'm like, Darrow!
Like, what are you doing? Cool. Stop being dumb boy.
This girl is perfect. Let her in. Yeah. Yeah.
Just go be your wife. Come on.
I know. But yeah, I think that's the last thing I read in Golden Sun. I was like, oh. But yeah, I think that's all of my major points for Tactus. You guys have any other thoughts?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got too. It's interesting because I feel like Tactus had such a big impact, but he really didn't have that big of a storyline.
No.
Yeah, his storyline was just bad dude betrays Darrow 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then ends up being another friend's scapegoat, basically, to betray Darrow even worse.
Yeah.
We didn't go over Crescent the numbers. You got the numbers pulled up.
Oh yeah.
Everyone loves the numbers. I'm so glad we're doing this. Now people are Salem, you will not have seen the episode yet, but Tatiana last week when we were doing Quinn was like, "Do you guys have the numbers ready? Do you have them?" She's super excited. And we're like, "We've got numbers. What are our Tactus numbers?"
So in Red Rising, he's mentioned 86 times, obviously including attributed dialogue.
That is a lot. I did not think. Sorry, and I didn't think he was 86 times, and that's a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not there for half the book.
Yeah.
No, 3/4 of the book, really.
Yeah, he's there most of the time.
Yeah.
And then, and then the last quarter of the book, which is half the Institute.
Yep.
He's around for most of it.
That's true.
In Golden Sun, it bumps up to 158 mentions.
Wow.
And only 25 of those come after his death.
Oh.
It's like he's there and then he's gone.
So, yeah.
I think he is overshadowed by Quinn a little bit. Right? Like everything that you would expect the conversation to be about him ends up being, right? Like you got them killed. Me got Quinn killed, right? Like so that doesn't shock me.
Yeah. We get a big oof in the next book. 17 mentions total.
Oh no.
In Morningstar.
Some impact he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darrow's not really feeling
super
that guilt.
far reaching.
Darrow's not feeling the guilt, and he's not around Roke to talk about it, right? Like no one else really cares.
Maybe that's why we all kind of forget about Roke. Or about Tactus.
Yeah. In Iron Gold, it drops even further to 5.
And is that
kind of surprised there was 5?
Just in reference to this is who Apollonius is? That's what I would assume most of that is.
A little bit.
Like, this is some context from Apollonius.
Yeah, it's certainly. He talks about how Apollonius is a twisted simulacrum of his younger brother.
Yeah.
And then he says, "You broke Tactus's violin when he was a child." And then they talk about how Tharsis and Apollonius shared Antonia, but he never had the exquisite pleasure of the elder Julii. And then what Tactus told me, she was like an eclipse of the sun.
Beautifully worded.
Okay.
And then,
he probably learned that from Roke.
Yeah.
Yeah. He talks about once how even Tactus, the most faithful of the brothers, couldn't be trusted farther than you can spit.
Wow.
And then he kind of laments Tactus, "To be home with my family, to feel real love, not this weird tapestry of domination and cruelty they've woven. Poor Tactus, what chance did ever he have?"
Yeah. So Darrow's forgotten about him until they come across Apollonius.
Yeah, until Apollonius shows up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah. 0 references in Dark Age. Does not come up on page 1 time.
Well, because Darrow's not around Apollonius a single time, right? During Dark
Correct,
Age.
yeah.
So who would talk about Tactus if not the two of them together? Like,
and
Lysander, then, I'm shocked Lysander doesn't have, like, I know he has goblin nightmares, but like, and Tactus is the one who saved me.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit surprising.
Right?
But doesn't he have them in a bag?
He does have them.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would know.
At some point,
presumably
he has
he
to come
took him
out
out
of the
at
bag.
some point.
At some point,
maybe
out of the Santa sack is how I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
And then in Lightbringer, Virginia actually mentions him one time because he.
Oh.
She says, when I gave Darrow his razor after the Institute, I had no idea what a symbol it would become. He was mocked for its curve by Tactus and his fellow Lancers. They were too embarrassed to fence with him. And then twice, when they go to Europa, we descend the stairs to where Tactus died on the edge of Lauren's knife and stand in that room to honor my dead friend. And then Tactus hinted he might have lived for more than himself just before he died. And that's it.
Yeah.
So it's only proximity to people or places that are memory triggers for him. He's not in mind very often.
No one's using him as, guilt against anyone else, like Severo calling out Quinn and like others.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I think that's kind of hard. Like, I think a lot of the other characters probably, I feel like Darrow has so much hope for people, especially in the first 3 books. Like, I do think later on it's less hope until you finally get to Lightbringer, because it's all so dark. But I feel like he had so much hope that he was giving everybody chances. And that's, I think, Darrow's fault in the whole series, is he has hope for people and he just wants to give out that hope and wait until they betray him, essentially. And I think a lot of the other characters would be in probably similar to what we've been saying, is how can you trust him? And have a very similar mindset to Lauren of, I am tired of this. I'm tired of him constantly betraying us. I don't want to give him another chance. And so it's probably why he doesn't get brought up very much after the 3rd book when Roke is no longer around, because there's nobody else to really cherish any memories of him.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Yep. And especially I was going to say the people who obviously Severo has memories of him at the Institute, but it's only really just Victra. Like, I am surprised Victra doesn't at some point. And maybe during Morningstar, she has a moment of talking about it. But, like, that's who Darrow and would have had Tactus memories with that's still around, is Victra. And I don't think I really connect that at all, because I don't think she really ever dwells on that. But at the same time...
Yeah, well, I think both of those two, like Severo and Victra, they're very much like loyalty.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
If you fuck me over, you are dead to me.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, and Tactus clearly tried too many times, and I don't think even Victra would have, who has that little bit of back and forth. But we also don't see her talk to him as much, even like in the group setting. It's not like she's like letting him in on the conversation or anything.
No.
Like, she's also like, you're over there.
Well, and I think especially in the beginning of Golden Sun, like, that's just Victra's personality, is unless she likes them, she's not going to talk to them. And I think it's very prevalent. I don't know, I can't remember, like, if she even really talks to Roke. Like, I feel like she really only talks to Darrow.
Yeah.
Because they're stuck together, and Darrow's probably the only more rational person, like, persona-wise, in comparison to Roke being flowery, and then for Tactus being very probably vulgar and...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Roke does come out in defense of Victra. I have a note for... I don't know. We would maybe talk about it on Roke's death. I made so many notes that I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever actually going to mention these during this read-through. But Roke does come out when they're all questioning Victra of, your mom has betrayed us. And she's like, I own my own ships. It is Roke who comes out and is like, and I think is doing it as a pointed way towards Darrow of like, we need to trust our friends. That's when Lauren's like, dear God, what did you drag me into? Like, Lawrence, you can't even trust your war council. But like, Roke does come out, but you're right. I don't think we really actually see Roke and Victra, huddling in the corner in the same way that like Tactus and Rogue seem to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah.
I think that's it.
I am curious.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious for the general public, because I feel like the three of us are somewhat aligned.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, they're Tactus apologists. I want to know what the public thinks. Do they think, where do you lie on this scale? Do you think Tactus could have changed? Or do you think that he wouldn't have changed and that this would have just been a vicious cycle over and over and over again?
It's great. Great question.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Very thoughtful. All right. Well, that is it for poor Tactus. Kind of brought it on himself. I mean, who fucks with the greatest Razor Master in the galaxies, in the universe's grandchildren? Who?
Yep.
I'm in the middle of like the closing monologue, but I'm having a thought. Is one of those Alexander? Is this in theory the first time Alexander?
100% it is.
Nice.
Because Alexander and Apollonius speak on the Archimedes, or not the Archimedes, on the Nessus in Iron Gold, and Apollonius asks Alexander, basically, did that violence excite you? And Alexander is just fucking stone cold, and he's like, it educated me on how to kill Valii Wrath. Like, that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
This is why we like Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Liked. Spoilers.
Aww.
No.
You can like dead people. Now I'm sad. We have to wait like 5 months to cover that at this rate.
It'll be a hot minute.
Anyway.
You can love them in the meantime.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, this has been great. Next week we're back. Technically there is 3 deaths in one chapter, but we're dealing with Fitchner first, and so Backstitch will be with us to talk.
Hell yeah.
Fitchner. Lorne will follow, I think, after, and then Nero after that, I assume, is the order. But who knows? The 3 of them kind of happen in such quick succession that we might record in a different episode or different order, and there you go. So thank you, Salem, for joining us as always, and
thanks for coming back as always.
See you soon. This actually comes out the week after we've hung out in New York City together, so I'll see you real soon. Not Crescent.
A week away.
I know. Or 1 week behind, depending on how we viewing versus Sorry, Crescent. We'll think of you when we're there.
Better take your bracelets.
Okay. Oh, I will. Can you remind me, and like maybe I'll take it off my microphone tonight We'll see. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.